Hello, I'm MBowen, or Matt if you prefer. I'm a student at Mid-Michigan Community College, and I will be teaching you today about the Southern Summer Constellation, the Warrior of Gaia, and my sun sign, Scorpius. So, before we get super into talking about all of these complicated, all the buzzwords, stars, galaxies, nebulas, we want to know where exactly they are and how you can look at them for yourself. First thing you'd want to do is go outside on a summer night, sometime between spring and summer. June would be when it is at its highest, Scorpius, June 1st. So, the first thing, once you've gone outside on June 1st, is you would look directly south, and you would look for our friend right here, Antares, who is a red giant. He is very, very large and very, very red. He's the 16th brightest star in our sky. So, he should be pretty easy to find. He's not going to be too far from the horizon. He's going to be almost directly south. From there, to take a look for the rest of the Scorpion, we, knowing that Antares is the heart of the Scorpion, look to the right, where we see these three blue stars. These ones are also relatively bright and relatively very blue. Quite a contrast to Antares. You probably won't see Alpha Scorpids right there. It's just a meteor shower happening currently. But you would look for these three right over here. And those are going to be the head of our Scorpion. After that, we're going to try to trace the tail downward to the south and then to the west from Antares. So you go down to the super dim one on the left, and then curve up toward the super bright blue one. And that one, if it helps to remember, is right next to the Milky Way, which is usually pretty easy to see in the sky if you're not too far into the city. So you can look for the Milky Way galaxy and trace your way toward the end. You'll find Antares, you'll go down that, and you'll see the tail, you go up it, and you'll see our three stars over there. Moving forward. Now we can talk about the actual stars. So the first one we're going to talk about is Beta Scorpii, or Acrib. Acrib meaning scorpion. They're all a scorpion. I don't get it either. I wasn't the one that named it. They probably named it thousands of years ago. So that's why we call it Beta Scorpii. And that one is right here, one of the head. Part of the head, You could think of it as one of the scorpion's eyes. That one is about 530 light years away. And this star's spectral type, or the type of light that it gives off currently, is B5, which makes it a white dwarf on our Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. Hertzsprung-Russell diagram is a fun way of organizing our stars. B meaning it's very blue, so like lower letters meaning more blue colors. For example, Antares is an M, and 5 being far from 0 is sort of dim, although not super dim. The third brightest star, or Delta Scorpii, called Teshuba, that one's kind of tough to say, or to spell. I don't think Google likes it over here either. Oh well, that's okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, better. Teshuba. Yep, It's hiding behind a Scorpides. Scorpides. Oh well. But you get the picture. Deshuba means forehead, which makes sense. It would be the forehead of the scorpion. Details about Deshuba, it's about 490 light years away. Its spectral type is B3, making it just as blue as Akrib, but a little bit brighter. It is made up of a 2-star system, so 2 stars sort of orbiting one another. This system can be classified, in this case, being a B3 as a blue giant on your handy-dandy Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. I like those. Those are cool. Second brightest is Shaula, or the end of the tail. Shaula meaning the raised, in quotes, tail. Shaula, or Scorpi Lambda, has a distance from our sun of about 571 light years. Got that one right. So it's a little bit further out. Its spectral type is B4, so it looks like Deshuba in its blueness and its brightness. But it is the second brightest. Moving forward, the brightest, of course, is probably easiest for you to see and easiest to find, being labeled already on our star map, Antares. That one is, like I said, the 16th brightest in our sky. It is an M1 class. Yes. Yep. M1, M meaning rather red, and 1 meaning rather bright. So that puts it at about an either bright giant or a supergiant. So it's pretty big. It has a radius of 883 times the radius of our sun. To sum that up, the radius of Antares is greater than the radius of the orbit of Mars. So, it's quite a bit bigger, and it is about 550 light years away. It's a very big one. One to lock your compass to. If you allow me to draw the analogy, this one would be our southern star, the South Star. Moving forward, we can start to look at some things that are a little bit farther away, but still almost as noticeable in most cases. First one we're going to take a look at is Ptolemy's cluster, which was discovered in 130 AD by Claudius Ptolemy, who at the time improperly labeled it as a nebula. Whoops. This cluster contains about 80 stars and is 980 light years away. Excuse me. I can see how he'd think it's a nebula. Probably, I'm looking through a standard, handheld telescope. But still, it's pretty impressive. Ptolemy's cluster is right over here. This arrow is pointing to it right there. That one's pretty easy to see because there's a lot of really bright ones there. Next thing, one of my favorite things to find in the sky is an actual nebula. Thank you, Ptolemy. The Cat's Paw or Bear Claw Nebula is a very, very massive, essentially star nursery. So where stars are born. And it's about 5,500 light years away. That's pretty far. So that one is pretty far away. It's about 50 light years across and has birthed several tens of thousands of stars, being one of the most active nebulas in the Milky Way. And that one is really, really tough to see. So if you want to see the cat's paw, you're going to need a little bit bigger of a telescope. But that is right there. You see that pink smudge? It's really tough to see. But that's okay. If you want something that's a little easier to see and a little easier to find, you'll want to look for the Prawn Nebula. And that is a little bit further away, 9,000 light years away. It's another nebula, so it does the same thing that the cat, bear, paw, claw nebula does. Births a lot of stars, and it's nearly 250 light years across. That's a little bit bigger. No wonder it's a little easier to see. And one of the other reasons it's so easy to see, and the cause of its very pinkish color, is its two supermassive O-type stars, which produce an awful lot of ultraviolet light. And what that ultraviolet light does is it ionizes the hydrogen in the nebulous cloud, which causes a very pleasant pinkish hue. Even for us to see, very far away. Moving on. Our very early understanding of Scorpius is represented by the story of Orion and the Scorpion. So, beginning, Orion was a great warrior, so he thought it a good idea to go ahead and ask for a challenge. He boasted that he could kill all of the beasts of Earth, and who knows, he might have. So, the goddesses, there was a goddess that did not like that. There's a couple different stories on it. One of them depicts Artemis not wanting such a powerful human, being the goddess of war. She didn't want anyone that could come too close to being able to defeat her. And then there's Gaia, who is the goddess of the Earth, of course, and she didn't really want all of her animals dead, so what Artemis/Gaia did was send a gigantic scorpion to challenge Orion. So there was an epic battle. There wasn't much documentation on that, but suffice to say, Orion got stung and died. And that holds true for all of the stories. So, with Orion dead, the Scorpion has the great honor of traversing the skies. So, warrior of Gaia. That sounds better. So, that is my understanding of Scorpius. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you go to all of these websites because they have a lot of great information on them, especially this one, Constellation Guide. It's really great. It had a lot of great information on it if you need to do some research. So, thank you for sitting with me and learning about Scorpius.